My 25 meters girlfriend, 24F, refuses to compromise when making plans. My GF and I live in the UK and have been together for 2 years. Last year we went on our first holiday abroad together and it was really fun. Before the holiday we had different ideas of the type of holiday we'd like. I preferred more city holiday where we could have a look around somewhere, but my GF preferred beach holiday where we do nothing and just relax. I didn't like the idea of this since I don't see the point of going abroad just to relax. It seems like a waste of money to me when you can do it at home. We compromised slightly and went to a city with a beach but still spent some time looking around. When we got back my GF admitted a city break will be better and she's starting to see beach holidays as November. We've been planning our holiday for this summer. The plan was to travel to 3 cities and spend 10 days exploring what the cities have to offer. We picked 1 city each and then decided on the third one together. We'd picked really cheap places so I'd set a low budget for it since I'm focusing on increasing my savings. We were supposed to book everything last weekend, but when it came to it my GF just said no, we're not doing that. I prefer a relaxing holiday near a beach and started looking at beach resorts. I asked her what was going on since we'd had this planned for months and she just said she'd changed her mind. I told her decisions like this we need to discuss and she just didn't respond. I pointed out the trips she was looking at were too expensive anyway since I'm not willing to increase my budget for the. I tried to compromise and suggest somewhere else. She'd just say no without even looking. She kept showing me places that just looked so boring for me since I don't see the appeal in paying a lot of money to just do nothing for a week. I ended up just stopping looking at the places she'd picked and she asked if I was angry. I told her yeah I was, since she let me get excited for a trip that it's clear now she had no intention of going on. And now expects me to just be fine with somewhere she picks. I pointed out it's supposed to be a joint decision, yet she seems to think it should be her picking it. She just walked out and said fine, looks like we're not going away in the night. She said I was being unfair and she was only trying to find a nice holiday for us. I mentioned that we'd had a nice holiday planned that we both agreed to and now she's just trying to find one for herself and expecting me to just agree when she knows my thoughts on the type of holidays she's suggesting. I said if we actually want to go away we need to find a compromise since there's no way I'm spending a week just laying by a pool or on beach, and she clearly doesn't want to actually look around anywhere for the full holiday, and she just said if we go away it has to be a relaxing holiday. Does anyone have any advice on how to handle this since I've tried to compromise by looking at other places but it hasn't gotten me anywhere? TLDR my and my GF had a nice holiday planned, then, when it came time to pay for everything she cancelled and decided she's look for a different type of holiday instead, despite me saying that type of holiday does not appeal to me and refuses to compromise. Does anyone have any advice? Edit. I posted this earlier but it got removed for being too vague, unclear on what I was asking, so I added details and reposted.
I agree with folks here that her vacation goals, preferences are valid, as are yours. I also agree that there are ways to compromise on these disparate. A lot of people here are ignoring the other issue. She isn't communicating well about what she wants. She told you she wanted your kind of vacation, but has done a sudden and total switch. She won't explain why, either. And she won't compromise. I don't think you can plan a vacation with her at this time. Plan something with friends or family, and let her do the same. Work on that communication together.
I like a combination of exploring and relaxing old towns, so there are definitely places that could suit you both if you agree you won't be spending the day together, but catch up in the evenings for dinner. Try Sicily, or Madeira. Or there's Barcelona, Nice, Lisbon, all have beaches. Or somewhere with a hotel or villa with a pool where you could leave her and go exploring, say Tuscany.
Me and my ex had this same issue. I dreaded going on holiday with him because he would always have a massive itinerary and each day had to be packed with activities, and he would sulk when we weren't actively doing something. He also made me pay for activities I didn't want to do by pooling our money together, then using what was supposed to be spending money on more activities. Now he's not wrong for wanting to save and have a holiday he enjoys, but it absolutely any enjoyment I had while also paying half. We did try and alternate and do things we both wanted to do, but we always ended up disagreeing. The last holiday we went on was his idea, and initially I was so excited and I was looking forward to it, but he kept badgering me about all the different activities he had seen and excursions, and I was knackered and just wanted to relax. We ended up compromising eventually, but split up while there. After 3.5 years and about 6 holidays we just couldn't have fun together. Not that this will happen to you, but certainly something to think about. Especially since you both seem similarly unhappy with each other's idea of what makes a good holiday. If I were you, I would even just stop discussing it for the time being. Well, emotions are high and you're both frustrated about the situation. The more you argue, the further you will push each other away from finding something you would both enjoy. If you haven't been to Tenerife, though there are great beaches and never-ending list of activities to choose from. Well, felt like it anyway. Turkey is pretty similar too. Loads of beaches and lots of places to visit and things to do.
Can't you do a beach holiday and you leave her at the hotel or spa while you do an excursion or explore the town?
My fiance and I have the same issue. Typically we go on cruises. We hit 3 to 4 cities that I can explore and do 3 to 4 at sea days where we can both chill. If I get antsy, I explore the ship and meet people.
While gotta learn to alternate. I am the beach vacation person. I want an umbrella or cabana or something on the beach and my Kindle. Do not ask me questions or try to make me go anywhere. I have everything I need with the sand and ocean and my Kindle. My husband honestly hates the beach with a passion. He'd rather go nearly anywhere else. So, we alternate. And sometimes I do a beach trip with my aunt and mom, as we are all into the boring beach vacation with our books. With my husband we do jam-packed sightseeing types of vacations. If he comes to the beach with me, I make sure we find an Airbnb with internet and he brings his PC or PlayStation.
It sounds like you both have different expectations for what a vacation should be like. Have an open and honest conversation about what each of you wants to get out of the trip and see if there's a way to find common ground. If not, it may be worth considering taking separate trips that cater to your individual preferences.
Have you considered going on a cruise? There's usually sea days where you can chill by the pool, and then on port days you can explore ashore. You can even leave her on the ship to relax and you explore on an organized excursion if you want, or even just wander on your own if you prefer. They're not always expensive. There's lots of options for cheaper cruise lines in Europe. Look at MSC, Costa and P&O for starters if this interests you.
The way she went about this is definitely annoying but ultimately compromise goes both ways, and if you want to resolve this, you just need to focus on moving past this hurdle and figuring out how to meet both of your. Tell her I'd like to figure out a vacation we can both enjoy together, but her sending me a bunch of remote beaches, I've already told her I'm not interested and doesn't feel like a productive way to do that, so I'd like to get back on track. I'd ask her if she would prefer a vacation like the last one, that is split in half so that we both get half of the vacation done our way, or would she prefer one where we pick a destination where we can both do our own thing during the day and then meet back up at the hotel in the evening? I'd maybe emphasize that if we split things in half, we can do all of the sightseeing up front, so that she can get the relaxing part in the second half to decompress before coming. Her answer is, the only vacation I want is for us both to relax together on the beach entire time. I'd just say that I love her and I want her to love her vacation, but if there isn't any compromise where we both get what we want out of a vacation together, then it's time to consider separate vacations.
That actually does sound like you compromised and just don't want to do anything she initially suggests or wants to do. So the fact she doesn't want to compromise either isn't that shocking.
It sounds like your idea of compromising is for her to do what you want. You got her to agree to cities, but was she really agreeing, or did you wear her down? You set a really low budget and won't budge on that, which makes me wonder if you're restricting her to hotels she won't be comfortable in, or ruling out things she would want to do in the cities. What is her idea of a trip to a city? It's possible that you're just not compatible, where you want to travel and she wants to vacation, not the same thing at all. It's also possible that her agreeing to 2 cities in the first place, even if she picked one, is already a compromise. City hopping is stressful. Good luck.
Agreed. This is by far the bigger issue. Different vacation preferences can usually fairly easily be dealt with if people just communicate and are willing to compromise, but she is showing no sign of this. Just randomly deciding to change the plan like this, with zero explanation, is very bizarre behavior. Makes me wonder if there is something else going on, or whether she's always been like this and it just wasn't that noticeable to Op before.
It is not communicating, it's changing agreement on the go last moment. This is done not by mistake and not by not knowing how to communicate. They had communication before and agreed to have specific kind of holidays. Although it doesn't look like it was her type of holidays, she agreed to it. If she would stuck to agreement, it would be much easier to have holidays she wants next time. But thinking that you change last moment so your partner has to agree to it because he doesn't want to lose holidays definitely isn't lack of communication skills. It's a proper setup.
Malaga is another option. By the sea, beautiful historic city with many museums and cultural activities.
In America we never vacation, so this isn't an issue. It's funny to read all the holiday drama in this thread. It's like a serious issue there, huh?
A lot of the places she's looking only have small towns, so while that would be nice for a day, it wouldn't be enough to keep me busy for the length of time we're there.
Yeah, it would be so easy to go someplace with beaches, that also has interesting excursions on offer, so you can alternate between lazy days and sightseeing. Only sightseeing can really get stressful, only beaching can really get boring, so switching off would strike the perfect balance for me. It's a shame she isn't willing to even discuss this, and they should probably make separate plans.
To be fair, neither is he, really. As a member of Team Do Nothing on vacation, navigating travel between 3 cities over 10 days sounds like a nightmare. That means you are moving hotel rooms on average once every 3 nights. I'd honestly rather spend 10 days exploring one city, including a few days spent just wandering around and enjoying the beauty and culture of the city and wandering into whatever seemed interesting.
It's a lot cheaper to travel from the UK to other countries. I'm taking my mum and 2 kids to a 5-star hotel in Spain soon, and including flights and transfers it came to just under £1,000. I'm sure it costs a lot more in the US. To be fair, I live in Scotland and the weather is awful the majority of the time and there is barely anything to do here.
You said you were already planning to go to 3 different cities. Can you go to 1 or 2 city destinations and spend the rest of the time at a beach destination? It doesn't have to be all one or all the other.
Where have you been looking? I think you would like Thailand. Check out Phuket, as in, the city. The best time of year to travel there is late October through May. Avoid June till mid-October at all costs as it will heavily rain, monsoon. You'll both have a lovely vacation and get all that you want with romantic dinners at night.
Man, I hope these comments don't end up being more of a poison pill for your relationship than the original. Think there's a middle ground between, she pulled an evil bait and switch, and, you coerced her into these plans. The third option is that she was willingly participating but got overwhelmed by it at the last minute. Maybe a stressful day reminded her how much she wants to relax. Maybe getting close to finalizing the plans just made it feel more real to her. It sucks that she isn't communicating, and that is a bigger problem you'll have to work on. I can't make her communicate, I can only give you advice. I do think per the comments, there is an element of the beach vacationer you don't naturally get, which is just how intensely and irrationally stressful logistics, planning, activities are to some people. It can be overwhelming even to imagine doing. Given that, I suspect this trip you planned is something she does want to do in theory, or did. But either it's too much an escalation, from mostly beach to 3 cities in one trip is a huge leap for a beachgoer. She may have overestimated her own ability here, or this is just not the right time for her to become that adventurous. For me to really enjoy a complicated adventure with many activities, I need to be relatively sane and stable and low stress in general. Anyway, if she is overwhelmed by the idea, she's likely retreated to something she's comfortable with, the resorts, and put up defensive emotional barriers to manage both her stress, and probably guilt, and your frustration and disappointment. She is communicating one thing, I guess, which is that the beach resort is the most she's up to right now. I agree that it makes the most sense to put planning on hold and get back to discussing the original issue. What made her change her mind and stop communicating? What can the 2 of you do differently to handle communication about this in the future? This is a better conversation to have in person if possible. She's defensive, you're frustrated, neither of you has a complete picture of what's going on with the thinking about the future. I suspect that as a mid-20s adventure goer you may not be the ideal person to introduce her to more adventurous options. You're full of energy and interest and enthusiasm. This is not a failing on your part. There is just an inherent tension in your different attitudes, and that makes it harder. She will feel like the wet blanket, lead weight holding you back if she constantly has to say let's stop. let's do less, let's, and she will have to say that, so the communication burden is higher than if she explored cities with laid-back friends and family who have a naturally casual approach. I think this tension is part of why the comments are mad at you. I think it sounds overwhelming to do 3 cities with you too, because I'm pretty low energy, but that's not your. She may well have city vacation in her but need to explore it in a more casual setting. Just like, TBH, you probably could enjoy a beach setting more if you were with a high energy friend who was always looking for things to. It's like the two of you are on such far ends of the spectrum it's harder to meet in the middle, but you may be able to use family and friends as stepping stones to get there.